filming for the low. I was filming in the trenches. I was filming for the bros. Now I'm filming for the team, for my mama and my queen. See this camera on my neck? Yeah, I call that camera blink.
Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's Imani Lenz, creative artist, video, photo, music, and founder of Black Stock Footage, all about cultural preservation of our Black stories. I am here with the amazing Melissa. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself because I know you. I've been behind the camera. Sabrina's been behind the camera. Tell the audience what's up.
I'm screaming internally at this introduction only because I'm normally the person that's introducing other people, and I always give everybody a lengthy, like this is da-da-da-da. So it's gonna be a lot more subdued than that. But I am Melissa L. Atkinson. I am the host of Hardwick Soft Life, the podcast, and I'm pleased to be here, Imani. What's going on?
Oh, we talking. Look, I'm finally in front of the camera. I told you a little bit offline, but I've been on my own journey of finding myself as a creative artist and removing a lot of those labels of videographer, very transactional. So I'm stepping in front of the camera because this is a part of my camera rolling tour where I want to feature small business owners, creative professionals, people who are doing amazing work. So that's why I know for season 2, this is what this conversation is about and whatever else we want to talk about with. But you've been doing some creative work with season 2 of your podcast. So tell me, let's dive into it. What was the inspiration for this season 2 of your podcast?
Oh, child. So what I will say is, first and foremost, I have to thank you always like I do, because season 2 wouldn't be a season. It wouldn't be a thing without you, without Sabrina, without Black Stock Footage. Like, it would just be me in my rinky-dink setup. So, so I'm super grateful always. But, honestly, the inspiration was kind of just like, I just wanted to tell my story to other people, right? I never realized that my story was impactful at all until I started coming across people in my life where I'm like, this is what happened to me in my past. I got arrested a few times. I split the bottom half of my face. I'm a felon. I've been homeless. I've been dragged through the mud and back. And I never thought that it was impactful because it's my own life. And so you tell people and they look at you and they're like, you went through all that?
You went through all that. Yeah. They're like, wait, you? But you don't even look like...
You don't look like what you went through.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I got to get this out there. And then I was like, oh, I can't do this by myself. And, obviously we revamped and came out with a season 2. But you said something interesting that I really liked. You said that you are, for one, it's really funny seeing you on this side of the camera.
Normally I'm quiet behind.
You're over there.
I'm staring at you or something like that. Yeah.
So it's really funny. It's refreshing to see you here. But also not having labels and being a creative who is multifaceted and that being an okay thing. I think that's really dope. It's revolutionary what you're doing. But yeah.
It's 2025. We got to step in. So I was just saying offline, right? The age of information. Now the age of information is coming to not a close, but information's everywhere now. It's widely accessible. A lot of the gatekeeping of information, how to do this, how to do that, is being broken down. So, like I was saying earlier, creativity is that new value. How creative are you? And it doesn't have to be clickbait creativity, but creativity comes from just your expression of yourself.
For sure.
So how do you think that you've been able to infuse expressing yourself and telling these stories? What was that process like of your... Let's start with the first one.
Okay.
Were you nervous? Walk me through, give me some little insights into what that experience was like.
It's funny that you ask. So the first episode ever of Hardwick Soft Life, I was terrified. Well, I thought I had a plan, right?
Yeah.
So I sat down and I formulated a script for myself. And I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to organize it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I literally sat down and I did use ChatGPT to organize my thoughts because that's just the way of the world, right? Yeah. Okay, boom, I've got all these thoughts and I don't feel like I'm making sense. So let me organize it with the use of AI, right?
Yeah.
And so I went in and I used to use this place called Home, of which I've taken you to on this season. Okay. So it's called Home, and it's located in Hyde Park in Tampa behind a bagel shop. But anyways, I use their podcast studio, and I've gotten to be really good friends with their manager over there. Her name is Hannah. And so I said, okay, boom, I'm going to rent this room for like 2 hours. She's like, okay, cool. Like, whatever you need, book it. Cool. I go in there with like a clipboard and like paper, and like I'm reading the script, and I realize no one films a podcast with a clipboard and paper. Like, that's crazy. So I'm like, okay. And mind you, I'm telling my story. So like I have it memorized. Like I know my story, but I'm trying to make it, I'm trying to translate it into a way that I think would make sense using AI. And I end up scrapping the whole thing. I go in 3 days in a row to the studio for a total of 2 hours each time.
So that's about 6 hours.
Yes. And I end up not creating anything of good value. And then I downed 3 mimosas. I don't advise other people do this, but
You got to get loose. You got to get those creative juices flowing.
Mimosa Melissa had to come out to play. I drank 3 mimosas and went in there with no script, no nothing, and just told my story, right? And I later on ended up at this event where I heard someone say, in a world of AI, and we are creatives, right? Creativity is being held, on a pedestal because creativity is the one thing that technology cannot recreate. And if we are creatives and there is a creator, then that's the only thing that should really like make sense in this world. And he said it a lot better than me, but he did say like there's a creator who put in us like to be a creative.
Yeah.
And that is what we need. And after that, I was like, you know what? I don't need ChatGPT to help me organize my thoughts.
Wow.
I'm just, yeah.
So you were able to tap into that innate gift, but it took some cultivation.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple mimosas to help you get there. But you went through that process, which a lot of people skip out on.
Yeah.
I'm not creative. I don't want to do that. But it's not that you're not something. It's just that you never tried.
Right.
A lot of people don't try stuff. And that's why I'm so passionate about being a creator, because I know what it takes to, hey, I see what's in your mind. Let me put it on video and bring it to life.
For sure.
So it's one thing for it to be my job. And then it's another thing for me I've already had that innate ability. Right. So I'm even going through the same where it's like, all right, I do this as a job for freelancing. How do I now translate that to me, Imani, and how I show up for me, not just how I show up for clients?
How's that process been for you?
It's, when I tell you, it was one of the most beautiful experiences. Okay. Because I got off social media. I literally just got off and started. So for me specifically, 2024, I told myself, I'm removing the label of videographer. Yeah. And I said, just do it. What else is gonna come of it? I said, well, I like music, I filmed a lot of rappers and artists and singers, and I'm like, okay, well, I do a little freestyle every now and then. Right. Let me try to use my voice, my throat chakra, for those people who believe in that, to communicate or storytell. I said, okay, let me put something down. Got in the booth. I hit up my boy, Anthony Moreo. He gave me some advice, input. He's a producer, helps me produce, mix, and master my songs. Okay. My first one, I put it, I was like, it sounds pretty good.
They're well done.
I surprised myself. How some people you hear, you be like, okay, this person just started. I'm like, dang, I don't sound like I just started. Right. Yo, I have a gift. And if I don't let this gift out, it's gonna eat me alive. Yeah. And I'm ambitious, so I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get this out. And I've been able to get that out, that part of me, which is like, whoa.
As you should.
All no AI, all written. All my songs are written by me. I have 40 songs now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's just a testament to I was able to step out my own way. I started doing meditation, breath work to really slow myself down. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm working on that. That's actually, it's funny that you say those exact words. So in therapy, a main point for me has been to slow down. I'm always like, boom, a million miles an hour, quick. Yeah. And I don't, to the point where my therapist has even said, Melissa, I want you to even be cognizant of the speed in which you speak. Yes. The speed in which you speak. And so I have this Aura ring. And it maintains your stress levels, right? And it not maintains it. It records your stress levels. Yeah. Yes. So I would watch mine and realize, oh, I'm like stressed like 9 hours out of the day. which it sounds insane. But then I would think about it and be like, wait, I'm a very excitable person. So I'm talking, I'm getting excited, it's recording it as stress. So I'm using my Aura Ring as a tool to like, okay, I get like really excitable. Let me slow down. I'm trying to like the speed in which I speak, I'm trying to slow it down. I'm trying to slow my thoughts down to like organize them. And I think that what you're doing, like recalibrating, refocusing, recentering, is very necessary as a person who is multifaceted, as a person who is very creative, highly intelligent. Like it's a necessary thing for us to do.
We have to.
Yeah.
And that's been I will recommend any creative, slow down, go retreat, get away from people, get off social media, take some time for yourself. I've done it, and I'm not at this caliber, and I found so much value out of it. Now my thoughts are clear, right? Especially my breath work. Now, typically, like when I get excited, I start talking like this. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's try to jump. Let's do it. Hey, what if? So now I'm able to channel that, talk a little bit more slower, right? So that my thoughts and pacing and match it with my breath.
For sure.
So just take a moment to breathe, you know what I'm saying? So next.
I'm getting over a cold, so I can't exactly.
Yeah, you still got to claw. I get you.
Have you ever seen, just one more thing on this topic and then I'm done. Have you ever seen the wild thornberries?
Back in the day.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so for those of y'all who are like Gen Z and younger, you might not know this cartoon, but there was a cartoon for millennials it was during our time.
Yeah, it was our time.
It was our time. So there's a kid, the boy that wears like the little cave clothes, who's like, skip it, like you don't know what he's saying. So Ryan, my husband, y'all, Ryan will like, he makes jokes. He'll make that noise and say that that's what I got going on when I start getting excited. I'll like be like, babe, but what about and he's like, skip it away. He starts running around and I'm like, okay.
That's like me with Sabrina. I'm like Sabrina, my wife, and I'm like, hey Sabrina, I got an idea. Oh my God. I have like, it's almost like roots connected. And my mom said this and I was like, yo, I didn't know I think like that. It's like, I think like roots are connected. You know how roots and plants in the ground?
Yes.
When I have one idea,
it connects to the next.
It connects to everything, and they're all these plants in my brain. These synapses are speaking to each other. So I have like 10 thoughts going on at once.
Yes.
With some people, they're like, "You're overthinking." It's just that I have all these ideas synchronized at once.
For sure.
And that's part of being creative.
Yeah.
I'm learning to, hey, let's slow the talk down.
Right.
And one person can talk at a time. It doesn't have to be everybody like, because it is overload.
For sure.
So, well, going into like, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, how did you overcome? I know you said you had a few mimosas to kind of get in your flow.
Right.
But going into that, the actual day of, how did you prep for that? Across the board, actually. How did you prep before the podcast?
It's funny because I feel like the prep work has changed and evolved as I've gotten comfortable. I think that your level of comfortability and ease is what changes your preparation, right? And so I am the type of person that like, I like to be over prepared in a sense. And a lot of it is like, I come from a background where my family, they're immigrants, right? My parents are immigrants. And my mom is a perfectionist, and I think that sometimes perfectionism is great if it's rooted in excellence, but if it's not, then it can be pretty detrimental, right? And then I was in the military for a while, and I worked corporate for a while. And so all of those things prepare you to be over prepared almost to a point of like anxiety, right? Like there's no room for error at all. So like I told you, I started with like, oh, I need to organize my thoughts using ChatGPT and it needs to be perfect. Like that's insane. Like they're my thoughts and I'm telling you my story, right?
Yeah.
And writing a clipboard is ridiculous. And then I started with index cards, and I would use the 3x5 index cards, and I would write more than one question within, you know how small those lines are?
Those things are tiny, like little.
I'd write more than one question in between the lines to fill up the cards as much as I could, so I couldn't forget to ask my guest anything.
Anything,
right?
wow.
And then I started to realize that's crazy too, because, obviously I'm trying to connect with people who are watching, right? And I'm trying to connect with the person I'm talking to. So I can't connect if I'm staring at cards and trying to make sure that I don't forget anything. And then my level of comfortability just started to rise in saying, okay, it's not going to be perfect. You probably won't ask all the things that you planned to ask. You have to be in the present, which means I have to slow down. In therapy, we talked a lot about, am I constantly thinking about the next thing? And I am constantly thinking about the next thing. So,
Quick question: is it in-person therapy or virtual?
it is virtual.
Okay.
It is virtual. But I'm constantly thinking about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So my cards are showing the next question and the next question and the next question and the details here and that I'm completely ignoring. I'm disconnecting with the person I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really listening to listen. I'm listening to like, okay, great. So anyways, I also wanted to ask about, so watching myself back, going through therapy, and like watching myself back has been huge. Yeah. But that has really helped me to change in the way that I prepare. So do I now first of all, I use bigger note cards, but also I don't write like full questions. I don't write like 1,000,001 questions. I write guiding questions in case I get stuck somewhere. But my main focus is to like be focused with this person and present in this moment. And so the prep work has changed. Now I do my research on someone if I have a guest, or and I'll ask specific questions that I might want to know, but then I just kind of like let it go. I let go and let God. Or if it's just me, I just think loosely, what do I want to talk about? And I give myself a few bullet points. And that's as much prep as gets done. Because we can't be down in bottles of champagne.
Yeah,
before
to get that kid of juices flowing. Yes, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so speaking of your guests, who are some of those guest speakers or guest speakers on your podcast? Tell me about that.
So we opened up the season with my good friend Justin Story. Shout out to him. So Justin Story actually is the person who's responsible for an event that I went to in February. It's called Creators Escape. And so he is also like I guess he's a storyteller himself. He's a photography, videography, expert. And he said, you know what, I'm going to step outside of my box and I'm going to create this event for creators to come and have a retreat because...
Removing those labels.
Exactly.
Hey, I love it. Shout out to my boy Justin.
Shout out to Justin.
I remember I was there and I was like, this guy is so cool. I'm so glad us videographers are breaking the mold and changing and shaking up the game. Because guess what? When we think about it, outside of a podcast with, no video, but video, we control. We got to realize our power. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we control that. And if we can create like what Justin's doing, that was amazing.
You have the optics in your hand.
You have it. We have it.
And he created this experience.
That's amazing.
And I never would have like put it on my bingo card for 2025 that event planner would be on Justin Story's resume, but it is. And so he created the event. And so that event, I say all this to say that me attending that event and being in the room with other creatives who felt the way that I did when we first walked in, I felt depleted as a creative. I felt like I had nothing left to give. I felt like I didn't know what I wanted to give, even if I had anything left to give. And ironically enough, I was one of the people that was supposed to replenish the other creatives, but it ended up replenishing me. And so Justin is on my podcast. That's how we started off.
It's amazing.
He's an amazing person. Like I'm blessed.
Justin, my boy, stay blessed.
Stay blessed and never stressed.
Stay blessed and never. I like that. That's on a shirt right there. I like that.
And then
who else we got?
We got Tracy Baker Simmons. Baker Simmons. She is one of the pioneers of reality television, which is my favorite genre of reality TV.
That's huge.
You didn't get to come with me to film this one.
Sabrina went with that one,
Sabrina went
to
film that one. And we filmed that in Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to my girl, Lami. She has the illest studio in Brooklyn. It's called, I'm going to butcher the name, but it's called Isla LaRue, and I can always like provide the address, but it's in Brooklyn. And yeah, Tracy Baker Simmons, she is a pioneer in reality television. She is the creator of Being Bobby Brown.
What?
Yeah, so she is a person that got to film. She is the person who got to film and create this show about Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston and their life. And her stories and insights were crazy. And I felt like talking to her, I kind of had like a renewed hope, right? Because here's someone who's 30 years in the business, still creating. She literally just dropped a show.
Hold up. For the audience, they didn't catch that.
Yeah.
How many years?
30.
30 years?
Yeah. She corrected me in the interview because I was like, oh, so you've been doing this for like 20 plus years, right? And she's like,
No.
30.
30 years.
30 years. She's been in the business. She knows people like Babyface. She's brushed shoulders with, obviously she met Whitney Houston, met her daughter, worked with Bobby Brown. She is still doing this, and she's got so many other projects that she's done along the way where it's very important for her, very similar to you and Sabrina's vision, right? Of taking Black stories that are by us and for us and really, reproducing them on a large scale for other people.
Distributing them out. Yeah, we need more of them. Yeah.
So that's really her thing, is like, I want to tell our stories by us, for us, and share it with the world. So yeah, she's a pioneer in that way. And I feel existential a lot of the time because I'm in my mid-30s, right? So because of that, I feel like, oh, my time is running out and I haven't accomplished anything. Sitting with someone as accomplished as she is, who's been doing this for 30 years and still has goals and is still moving. Like I said, she dropped the Nelly and Ashanti reality show where she's following them around and filming them and put that all together. And it's 2025. And it's been 20 years since Being Bobby Brown's show was out. So it made me feel less existential. So she was one of my guests. And
that also speaks to the power of what she's doing as to what works. You know what I'm saying? That in person, behind the scene, organic, authentic, insert all those words.
Yeah.
Like that, those types of stories are going to stand the test of time.
She said that, actually. That's exactly what she said. She said that it wouldn't have worked for Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston to have made a show with anyone else, maybe other than her, because they felt like it was like, oh, we cousins, there was that relatability there, and they trusted her to tell their story. So
that's amazing. That's amazing.
So she was someone else that was a favorite of mine. Who else did we interview?
And she was the first woman interview you had?
Was she? No.
Who was the first?
The first woman interview that we had was in Atlanta. I feel like I took your wife on tour with me.
I was home like, man, I should be there. And I'm like, go do your thing, go have fun, go. So she did.
Sabrina was a trooper with me because I know I'm not easy to travel with. But
shout out Sabrina, thank you for being a real one. Appreciate you.
Sabrina kept me grounded throughout this. But no, our first interview from a woman was with Giovanni Samuels.
Okay.
In Atlanta, Georgia.
Tell me a little bit about her.
So Giovanni Samuels is also someone from our time as millennials who was like our TV cousin growing up. Wow. She was on All That. She was on, it's crazy how she spans more than one generation, right? So I knew her from All That. My brother, who's 6 years younger than me, who grew up in the same household as me, he's 28, has no clue what All That really is, because that wasn't of his time. And so when I showed him a picture of Giovanni Samuels, he looked at her and said, oh my God, she was on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Wow.
Which she was, but I'm like, oh, I was watching music videos at that point. But no, Giovanni Samuels, and she is having a how do you say this? Not a lifetime, like oh my God, it's like on the tip of my tongue. when you are, when you turn 25, and that is a milestone birthday. There we go.
Yeah.
She is having oh my goodness. I'm like, can I speak English today? She's having a milestone birthday this year. So she shared with me like, hey, I'll be 40 this year. But not only was she turning 40 this year, if she hasn't already, she was going through a divorce at the time that we did her podcast. Wow. And I was like, what's crazy is we know you as a girl on TV who was our TV cousin. And to think that so much time has elapsed, that we've all grown up, that not only did you get married, you have a child, and now you're going through a divorce and you're turning 40. We're all growing up. So that one was, that was a dope one for me, honestly, because I got to know her personally. So yeah, it's lit. But yeah, we've had a few really cool, like, guests on my show. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of lit.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And how did you, just speaking, like, I know you mentioned one studio that your friend owned. Yeah. How did you go about the process of, like, for the people who, this is kind of like the BTS, how did you choose the venue to shoot at?
This is where like, I gotta, give y'all a shout out again, you and Sabrina. So I used Peerspace, and on Peerspace, I'm very particular, so I just picked whichever studios that I liked on there, but I was able to cultivate relationships with the people who own the studios. So much so that like we used Posh Lofts in Atlanta, Georgia. Ooh. And they actually reached out to me for the last time that I was coming into Atlanta to say, hey, we have this deal. If you need any free studio time, we can provide you, a few hours here, or you can pay in advance for this. And really giving me discounted specials just for like building a relationship with them.
That's because you're doing great work.
Thank you.
If you weren't a great person and doing great work, they would have probably never said that.
You know what? I appreciate it. But also you guys helped to create that, it's, and same with in Brooklyn, when I reached out I used Peerspace. There's a funny thing. I used Peerspace to book Lami's studio. And then she ended up calling me for one reason or another. I can't even remember really, but it was something having to do with the space, and we were talking and we just clicked over the phone. Wow. And I just really liked her. And she said, you know what? Let's come off of Peerspace. And how about I just rent you the space directly through me? So I said, okay. So we kind of canceled the Peerspace. Sorry, Peerspace, but we canceled the middleman. And then I went directly to her. And she ended up liking me so much that she was like, I'll just throw in a BTS video while you guys are getting ready during one of the interviews. And that BTS video, like, it was a nice little reel. But yeah, she was able to accommodate me and Sabrina coming in like hours in advance. Like, she was just awesome. So yeah, like I used Peerspace to start, but then you build a relationship with whoever owns the studio, so that way you can come back. You want them to welcome you back. So
and I think that also speaks to the power of, I'm a huge advocate for women and women building relationships with other amazing women.
Absolutely.
Because we need it, especially in the creative industry.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Sabrina, I'm like, you're one in far few many, or not many Black, Latin. You're Black, Latina, and a woman.
Yeah.
That's a very specific niche to own. And you're a videographer, photographer, artist. Like, own it. You know what I'm saying?
You sound like my husband. You sound like Ryan, which is why I'm so glad, like, today you were able to meet him at least a little in passing.
Yeah.
And Sabrina and I had conversations often where we talked about our husbands. Yeah. And so in those conversations, we were like, oh my God, like, there's so much alike in a lot of ways. And so one of the things that Ryan does make note to me a lot is, in any industry that I work in or anything that I choose to do, he's like, Melissa, you are you're at the intersection of three marginalized groups. He's like, you are Black, you are Hispanic, and you are a woman. And although that is a very niched intersection to be in, he's like, it is one that is very much needed and necessary. And so don't run away from that. When I started real estate, Ryan was very quick to tell me, hey, like, Black, Hispanic women are going to want to work with you, like, or a person from each marginalized group is going to want to come work with you. Exactly.
Yeah. They're like, oh, she's relatable.
Representation matters.
Representation definitely matters.
Definitely matters. Yeah. And so I was really happy when Sabrina got to meet Tracy. Yeah. And I think that, and she even told me, she was like, I feel so, the two of us like left that interview feeling like, I feel so inspired. Like, we have plenty of time left. Like, what? Like,
Right?
she's working, like, and she's not worried about time. Like, why
Yeah.
are we worried about time? So that one was one I was very thrilled for her to be in on, because it was like, wow, I get to see my people. Like, she's a woman behind the camera. I'm a woman behind the camera.
Yeah. And that's powerful, because I remember watching these interviews and I'm like, it's 3 women in here. One's a videographer, one's in the host, the other is the guest, and they're all at 3, different phases of their lives and where they are. And I'm like, this is it's documented. Like, this is gonna imagine 20 years from now, you're telling your children, you're telling your whoever about your experiences. You're gonna have that documentation that right now with a phone we can document everything, but you're doing it in a way that is gonna shine through the noise of all the social media posts. You're gonna be able to think about it. You can go to any place and say, hey, look, I have these seasons. Keep doing your seasons. I got 5 seasons. How are we still watching shows from 20 years ago? Right. We're still watching
the Cosby
reruns,
Show.
right?
Yeah.
So you have something that people are gonna want to see now and in the future. So it's really cool. It's really cool to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm actually really grateful you said thank you for that, because I was telling Monique, shout out to Monique. Monique is also a person.
Monique, yes.
Monique, yes, Miss Monique Carrillo, super mom, like momager of like Deshae, Brooklyn, of I think Amari, and her daughter Bali. That's my twin. But shout out to Monique. And Monique and I were having a conversation when I was in Atlanta just this last week, and I told her, I know that the content that I put out is not going to have that virality that other content creators do. And I'm okay with that. When I started this, I was like, well, I could get a lot of clicks, I know I could. I know how to do it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want that to be, it's going to be a slow burn. I want people to like authentically pick up what I'm putting down, right? The message is what's most important to me. And it's funny that you mentioned like how we documented having the 3 Black women. What you don't know is that the studio owner for Tracy Baker Simmons' interview, the studio owner was there, sitting there.
What?
She was sitting right there, picking up tidbits. Like, she actually, so let's say we're filming here. She was literally like sitting right there, watching and listening.
Wow.
And Tracy Baker Simmons had a young lady with her who I think helped her do her makeup and put her look together. And her name is Shalia, which actually I'm with her on Instagram. We follow each other. Yeah, shout out to her.
Hey,
in super young, like in her 20s, like New Yorker style, like blonde braids, unapologetically herself.
Doing her thing.
And is also there too, doing behind the scenes like coverage, and also saying, I felt like I got a lot of value from this interview. Every interview we had, there was probably 1 or 2 people that were extra in the room that said the same thing, that kind of like kept me going too. But yeah.
We're going to look back on this interview and be like, yo, we didn't see what was coming.
I hope so.
I know so. And listen,
I hope so, man.
Your potential to, again, as you go through and gain your experience, again, you're doing this at your pace. Guess what? You're not signed to a label.
No.
I'm not knocking those things, but you have a chance to do it and curate it the way that's sustainable for you.
True.
As you said, you're building a family.
True.
You still can do your thing.
Yeah.
You control it.
Yeah, that's
and
the
now
goal.
you get it out there. So if it takes you 2 years, okay, you control everything. You have your peace. You're not sitting here pulling your hair out, and it's cool. And I think that's the future of how. I'm not saying you don't get partnerships and things like that.
No, for sure.
But that traditional way of, I'm just gonna leave it in somebody else's hands, deal, or this one thing is gonna get me to a certain point. I think it's gonna be you and the relationships that you cultivate.
I hope.
Over time, that people gonna be like, hey, she doing it. Yeah. Then I can see you doing so many cool things. So
I appreciate that. It's very akin to when the hip hop game was changing. So I'm a hip hop head, but it's very akin to, and I feel like it's fitting to even say this because you're venturing into music, into hip hop. But back in the day, it used to be, a hip hop artist needed to get signed with a label, right? Like a major label, whether it was gonna be like Rockefeller, whether you were gonna be signed to like LaFace Record or wherever you were gonna be signed to, or J Records, you needed to be signed with a major label, and then you needed to get that advance, and then you could blow up, you could do your thing right from there. And it was a necessity. But in the 2000s, like roughly around the time like 2008, 2009, 2010 is when these people started really coming out with their own music independently, and that is because we were in the middle of the wake of social media. And so Soldier Boy and Drake and like all of those people were putting out mixtape. Yeah, honestly, he was the first.
Yeah.
He was the first to market, like, and I have to say this because in case this does go viral, because Soldier Boy is real quick to reach out to people on social media to be like, well, I was the first rapper to do, blah 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 blah. You could say that somebody was the first rapper to eat yogurt, and he'll come out and be like, I was the first one to do it. So I say this to say, like, he was the first one at that time using MySpace to promote himself, and that's how he got the attention. So I think that the shift that we're seeing now when it comes to like production of social media stuff is very akin to that shift that we saw in hip hop.
And
it's refreshing.
It's definitely refreshing, and I see that, and I've been kind of on the outside of that end, creating content for those type of people, and I see the shifts, and I'm like, whoa, I just got to turn this mirror to myself.
Yeah.
If I can do what Soulja Boy did, he did it for rap. Well, if I can do it for the camera crew,
for sure,
in my own niche, how many people gonna be like, yo, he's repping for the whole team? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's a really cool way to do it, and not say it's not gonna be somebody else that comes out and talks, their lyrics maybe talking about storytelling or using the camera, but I'm doing it in a way that's like unique and different. And it's like, whoa, I get an opportunity to do this? Oh, okay, I got to step up.
What you got going on, it reminds me, and this is my last comparison. I like live in a world of comparison. Very similar to your, like your roots, right? Yeah. I think we think alike in that way. But what you got going on reminds me of, have you ever heard the song Green Light by John Legend?
Oh, give me
the green light. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you why this has something to do with what we're talking about, right? So when that song came out, previous to that, John Legend was a sit at the piano type singer. He had Ordinary People. He had, it was a sit at the piano and I'm going to sing, right? And Alicia Keys used to be that kind of performer too for a long time until she decided not to be, right? Like she started venturing out. Cool. Well, the thing is people box people in. So John Legend was the guy who sat at the piano and sang pretty songs, and that was it. At the beginning of that song, Green Light, at the beginning of the music video, I'm going to urge you to go watch the music video. I got to
go watch it now.
Because it's a throwback, but it is a classic throwback because that song is Chef's Kiss. So at the start of it, Andre 3000, who is in the song as well, and is absolutely brilliant, is one of my favorite rappers. Andre 3000 says to John Legend, sometimes you got to get up from behind that piano. And I feel like that is like the theme in which you're in right now. Sometimes you got to get out from behind the camera.
Whoa.
Like,
that's deep.
You have much more to offer.
Yes.
You're not just the guy behind the camera. Just like John Legend's not just the guy that sings pretty songs behind the piano. Yeah. He could get out and get jiggy with it too, and that's okay. I think people oftentimes ostracize people and say, well, they're not doing what they normally do.
Yeah.
And it's like, and even people who don't step outside of their medium of creative expression to another medium of creative expression. There's some people that stay within the same medium, like John Legend being a pianist, and get criticized for changing their style up. Billy Joel is another one. He's my favorite. None of Billy Joel's albums sound alike. All of Billy Joel's, he's doing the same thing. He's playing the piano and he's singing songs. But a lot of people will, are you a rock star? Are you a pop star? Are you, this? Are you that? I'm none of the above. I'm just an artist. And I feel like that's what you're doing. Wow. So I think it's dope.
Thank you for seeing that, because it took me a while to be able to see that. And then you just, listening to me talk, you just said it. I'm like, man, maybe I should have came to you earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Melissa could talk sometimes.
Awesome. So just kind of going, wrapping this segment up.
For sure.
Just tell me overall, what was your experience like for season 2 when it just comes to, as you're reflecting on it, you're looking back, what are some of the key things that you learned, and what are you looking forward to next?
Definitely some of the key things that I learned. I don't want to rely on my guests too much. That is something, and I know I mentioned it in my outro, but that is something that I feel like I did. I feel like I got so worried about clicks and numbers and analytics that sometimes you lose the plot, right? Sometimes you lose the plot. Like the whole plot was, I'm going to tell my story. I want people to share their story. But I also want to talk to my community in between, right? But I got so worried about the analytics and saying, okay, well, this is working. And people are gravitating because I'm, utilizing maybe my guests, their numbers per se, to like bring in people to my show. And yeah, they're watching to support the said person that they want to see, but they're not getting to know me in the process because the next episode is with another guest and then another guest and then another guest. So I think that sometimes we start off with pure intent and then we say, oh, well, I don't want to deviate too much from this, and you hold yourself in. So something that I learned was just not to box myself in, to talk more with my community and like voice my opinions and my thoughts because they matter, and that's what my community is there for. And not hide behind guests. And also, this one is really trivial, but it's a thing. When people are talking to me, I just go, okay, all right. And although that is how I speak normally, that has made me very cognizant. So that is one of those things. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Melissa. Like, how many? Someone could be telling me like, oh, my dog died last night, and my cat got run over by a car this morning, and my bladder is, infected, and it's sad, right? Yeah. And I feel empathy in my heart because I'm a human. Yeah. But because I think I've lived like a traumatic life, I'm very much of like, okay.
Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you're not supposed to say that. So yeah, that's something I've learned.
Yeah, so you learn to just be more empathetic, which you are, but maybe expressing that. Is that
yes, kind of, expressing myself a little bit better.
Expressing yourself, yeah. That definitely makes sense. In terms of what's next, where do you feel like what's next? Do you have a vision of what's next for? Will there be a season 3, or you got what do you feel like is next, or are you still working on it?
That's an amazing question. No, just kidding. You know what? I do have plans to make a season 3. I think that I'm really enjoying being in the public space. And when I say the public space, like I mentioned, I got to be a moderator for the Nike Wellness Collective event that we did with Jody. She's kind of fit. I really enjoyed being part of a panel for Creators Escape, and I'm going back in October to speak again. I can't believe that we're already like in a point where October is coming up, but it's crazy. I'm getting to host an event also next month, and a gala at that. So I really am enjoying. I'm enjoying being in the public space. I'm enjoying being live and unfiltered. So I definitely want to do more events, more moderating, more public speaking where I share my story and maybe encourage other women who are in tough positions, and talk to people who are of the socioeconomic class that don't really get acknowledged because we're made to feel, if you're of a lower socioeconomic class, you're made to feel like you are expendable and like you don't matter. And I'm a person that I've felt all those emotions before, or someone who has a label of felon. We all have labels, but some of us are not proud of certain labels. And having had that felon label, I want other people to know that you can overcome. So yeah, just kind of being more in the public space, talking more to people, encouraging and inspiring others to share their story maybe. And yeah, we're hoping for a season 3 of Hard Weeks of Life.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I know you're a wonderful person. You're a wonderful creative professional, and I'm looking forward to all the amazing things that you have coming. You already know you got support.
Thank you.
From Imani Lenz, Black Stock Footage, Art by Sabrina. You got support. We're on your team. So
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you for sharing your gifts and light with the world. Keep doing it. Don't let nothing stop you. Keep
too.
Your head up.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. And thank you all for tuning in with this BTS of Melissa's Hardwig Soft Life Season 2.
Bang, bang.
Let's go. I love that. I love that. Appreciate it. We're done.
Thank you.
We're done.
Thank you, sir. That was cool.
I call that camera bleed. Now I'm filming for the culture. I got cameras on my altar. Sent some wigs and some cultures. Making deals with these bosses. I was filming for them rappers. I was